Hey everyone, this is Nadeem and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the 4 steps of understanding any complex topic. This 4-step process is simple but very effective. In my entire life, I've used this simple 4-step process to understand every single complex topic that I've come across. It's easy and simple but very effective. Most of you know it, but a lot of you just simply don't use it consciously. I've used this simple 4-step process to understand every single topic I've come across. I've been using this 4-step simple process all the way since I was in high school. I used it to pass classes in high school. I used it in college when I was getting my Bachelor of Science degree. I used it to understand and tackle every single topic I came across in my master's degree. And even now, I use this 4-step simple process to understand every single topic I come across. And honestly, a lot of my success has been to the fact that I follow this process throughout my whole life. So today, I want to share this process with you guys so you guys can consciously use this and use it to benefit yourself as well. A lot of you guys know about this. A lot of you guys even see people using it online, but a lot of you guys just don't consciously understand it or use it effectively. So today I'm going to be teaching you how you can use this 4-step simple process so you can apply it to understand any topic you want to learn about. And if you want to take a step further, I'll even discuss that at the end as well. So step number 1, you need to read the whole topic and underline the main words as you're reading the topic. So when I say read the whole thing, it doesn't mean if you have a book, read the whole book and then start underlining the stuff afterwards. It could mean maybe in the book you have a single chapter, right? Or in the topic itself, maybe you have a topic broken down into chapters or sections or something like that. So what you want to do is you want to go through the whole topic and at least the first section of it, and you want to underline just the main words. Okay? So as you're reading it, make sure you don't underline everything, because the whole point of this process is you underline the main words, the words that are essential to that topic or that subtopic or that chapter that you're reading. Okay? So go through the topic, underline the main words. That's step number 1. Now, after you finish that chapter or section, again, not the whole book. I mean, if your topic is just a couple of pages or even maybe 20 pages, it's fine to read the whole thing. But if it's a big book, you don't want to read the whole thing and then come back, right? So make sure you break this down into subsections as well. The reason why I'm asking you to go through the whole thing and underline the main words is because if you don't do the whole thing, then to be honest, it's really hard for you to grasp what's actually essential in that topic. Let's say it's a topic you've never come across before. Let's say it's a topic which you've never dealt with before, or it's a topic that's very complex, such as legal rules and regulations. Those topics can be really, really complex and really detailed as well. So you wanna once go through that subsection or that section and read the whole thing and underline only the main stuff. Then step number 2, everything you underline, you're gonna use that to create sections. Okay? So if you have a whole section, you just read it, you underlined it. Afterwards, you want to review those underlined terminology, everything you underlined, and kind of make sense of what that section is about. You have to understand that your brain is always trying to comprehend new topics and complex topics in the easiest format possible. It could be, do the things make sense chronologically? So like I said, step number 1, go through the section, underline the main words. Now, step number 2, you need to go back and look at those underlined words and see what really matters. You want to use those underlined terms to break that topic into different sections. And for this, you need to actually breathe, take a step back, and look at the whole section and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in terms of what matters and what doesn't matter. Let me give you an example. Let's take a look at the way J.K. Rowling wrote down Harry Potter. So I just opened this website. Let's focus on this page on the left side. This page on the left side is showing the outline of Harry Potter. There's 6 or 7 books. In order to make sense of the whole story And to make sure J.K. Rowling kept track of everything, she pretty much took those books, took those characters, and split them up into 6 books. That means 6 big topics. Okay? So as you can see, even J.K. Rowling split all her books into different sections. She took the story of each plot or each character and split them into 6 books. So this is pretty much the exact method which I've been using since I was in high school. So as you can see, she pretty much took the main topics, title, Order of the Phoenix, and then she broke everything down into sub-main topics. If she hadn't done that, she would have lost track of all her characters and the way they were supposed to go through the whole storyline. So as you can see, even she broke everything down into sections. That's pretty much what I'm saying to you as well. So remember, step number 1 was to go through the whole section or the whole material or the whole topic and then underline the main stuff only. Then step number 2, go through those main linings that you already did and understand which of those main words are actual headings or topic headings that you can use to break down the whole section. Once you kind of understand which of those underlined terminology or underlined words can actually be used as headings to break down the section, make an outline. Okay? When I say make an outline, actually take out a paper or maybe open Word on your computer and in an outline format, make headings of those main words. So if you have one topic, maybe you want to break that down into 5 main sections. So as the first step, you want to write down 5 bullet points to break that section into 5 different headings. And again, remember, it's something that has to make sense to you. It could be chronological, it could be something that works as a story-wise thing, but it has to be something that makes sense to you. Once you have broken down the topic into sections, maybe it's 5 or 10 sections, something like that. It really depends on how big the topic is, but at the same time, you don't want to break that down into too many pieces. For example, it could be one topic with maybe 20 paragraphs, and you feel like, oh, I can break these down into 20 different sections. That's not how it should be. You have to make sure that whichever sections you are breaking down the topic in, those are actually the really big topics, and it's not too many of them. Once you have those main sections listed out, that's when you go to the next step. Now remember, when you broke down the topic into different sections, it may already make sense to you, right? Maybe it's what happened in the past and what happened in the future. Maybe it's maybe you move things around because it makes more sense to you in a story-wise fashion. So you have to understand that by now your brain will kind of comprehend what the main topic is about or what the main heading is about. Then what you need to do is actually go back to those main headings in the topic and you need to write down a couple of bullet points under that topic. Again, this is not the stuff that's going to be super detailed. Okay? So let's say there's a story. You read the story has 5 sections. So you break that topic into 5 sections, right? Then underneath each section, you need to kind of realize each section has its own story. So under each section, you want to put down maybe a couple of 1 to 3 bullet points that help you understand that main topic in each section, or that helps you understand each section in itself. So, for example, we were talking about Harry Potter, right? So let's talk about Harry Potter. Harry Potter has 7 books, right? You have to understand the whole 7 book is actually one story. Okay, these are not 7 different stories, it's one big story. And what J.K. Rowling did is she broke down that one story into 7 books. So those are the 7 sections that you might make when understanding a different topic or new topic. Then, if you look at it that way, each section is a book, right? So if you break down the story into 7 sections, that's 7 books, and those are the main bullet points which I was talking about. Then under those main books, you have to understand how you can condense each book into main bullet points. Maybe it's about Harry, maybe it's about Professor Snape, maybe it's about Hermione Granger. If you were writing a book, you would understand how you can condense each book and each character, for example, into a couple of bullet points to cover that book. So let's take the first book, for example. I'm using this reference because everyone pretty much knows Harry Potter, but the first book is Chamber of Secrets, right? So what happens? Let's talk about Harry. If you want to break down the first book only, then you need to break that down into a couple of bullet points. Number one, Harry doesn't know that he's a wizard. Number two, he finds out that he's a wizard. Number three, he goes to Hogwarts. Number four, he meets a challenge, which is the snake. Number five, he overcomes that challenge. So you can pretty much break down the first book into 5 bullet points, right? So when you're dealing with a new topic, that's how you need to think. You take the whole topic, you break it down to each section, then under that section, you think of that section as a story in itself and try to understand how you can put down sub-bullet points to begin that topic, to begin that section, and how to end that section, and something in between as well. So just repeat. Step number one, read the whole thing and underline the main wording. Number two, review the underlined wording and see how you can use that to sectionize the whole topic. Number three, for each single section, you want to put down a couple of bullet points to make sense of each section. So again, like I said, all of this can happen in a way that makes sense to you. Maybe it's chronological, maybe it's another fashion, maybe it's a story that makes sense to you alone. Once you have the sub-bullet points, then afterwards, that's where you fill in the details. So under each sub-bullet point, you want to write down the details still in an outline fashion. The number one benefit of having something in an outline fashion is that you don't want to write every single detail in that outline. Okay? So if you have a word, so for example, if you have one paragraph, you want to condense that into one single line under that sub-bullet point to talk about what it really is. And then you kind of go through and do the same thing for every single bullet point and every single sub-bullet point underneath that. I'll use the example of Harry Potter. This is one story. In order to make sense of it, you have to break down into different sections. You have 7 books. Book 1, Book 5, Book 6, and Book 7. I think there are 7 books. I can't remember. So there's one topic, and you broke it down into 7 headings. Okay? Once you break it down to 7 headings, you want to make sense of each section. Harry doesn't know he's a wizard, finds out and gets into Hogwarts, faces a challenge, which is the snake, beats the snake. Those are the sub-bullet points. Then as the last step, you need to fill in the details. And these details are something you're going to condense into an outline format rather than just write down every single thing. Okay? He doesn't know he's a wizard, so living with non-wizard family, treat him bad, once out. Second bullet point, he finds out and gets into Hogwarts. Hagrid gets letters, but relatives take him away. Hagrid finds him, tells him he's a wizard. Makes friends and enemies. And you can fill in the names as well of the friends and enemies. Then faces a challenge. Here's snakes, finds snakes. Oops, should be beats. Kill snake with sword. So, if you were learning about Harry Potter and you wanted to understand what was going on with it, because it was a complex topic, this is how you would do it, right? You take one story, you break it down into different sections, then you put sub-bullet points under those sections. Then the last step would be to fill the details within those subsections or sub-bullet points. And as you can see, I pretty much condensed on a whole book into pretty much 4 main points and 1 to 3 points underneath them. This is how you intentionally and consciously tackle every single complex topic you come across. Trust me, there's nothing out there which is really hard to understand. You just need to spend time on it, time to organize it, and then it'll make sense. So whether you're taking an exam in school, whether you're interviewing for a job, whether you're learning about a company, whether you're talking about yourself in an interview, everything has to make sense in a chronological order. So whatever topics you come across, no matter how complex it is, you need to use these 4 steps to understand that topic. And trust me, like I said, I've used these 4 simple steps to understand every single complex topic which I've come across in my life. I've been using this for more than 20 years. Now, if you want to go a step further and you want to memorize everything, it's pretty simple. If you follow these 4 steps, going back to the example of Harry Potter, if you follow these 4 steps, then by the time you get to these sub-bullet points, your brain already has a way to connect all of the main headings to each other. The first thing you'll need to do is, for example, if it was me, and this was a complex topic which I was memorizing, then I would memorize stuff in the same exact way which I came up with it. Number 1, I would memorize the title of each book. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 4, and so on. Once I have those topics memorized, then I would go down to the main bullet points and memorize just those bullet points. So, for example, if we go under Book 1, then the main bullet points are these ones. Let's actually change them to A and B. So, first I would memorize the numbers, and then I would memorize A, B, C, and D. Okay, so at this point in time, you don't want to be bothered by the details, okay? Do not try to memorize this thing. Memorize the book name, the main sections, and then memorize the sub-bullet points, which is, doesn't know he's a wizard, finds out and gets into Hogwarts, faces a challenge, snake, beats the snake, okay? Once you have the 4 bullet points memorized, that's when you go back and memorize the details under each bullet point. Living with non-wizard family, treat him bad, once out. That's when you memorize the details. And trust me, I have used this method to achieve 100% on the toughest of exams. The one thing I would tell you is when you are trying to break down a topic into different sections, you have to make sure that you don't break them down into too many sections. A lot of people break down a topic into so many sections that at the end it doesn't matter what you do with it. It's just simply too much detail to memorize. In the beginning it might be a challenge to do this, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and if this video helped you in a tiny bit, don't forget to hit that like button as well. I'll see you next week.